that was my life.
Born into the gym,
yeah,
right?
And like kung fu films and all the like Shaw Brothers stuff and all the cheesy like Kung Pao stuff. Like that's the stuff I grew up on.
Yes.
And so I missed out on a lot of like good award-winning movies because of that.
Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Inner West Hemp. Be sure to visit them online for all your CBD needs. This is the same company that I use daily, from tinctures to rub-ons to CBD gummies. Some of their products are even USADA approved. Be sure to use the code JAMP for 15% off at checkout. What's up, guys? Today's guest is a talented action actress. Please welcome to the JAMCast, Miss Amy Johnston.
What up?
What's up? How are you, gangster?
Good. How are you, gangster?
I know, it's so funny. Like, the coolest things about these JAMCasts is that I get to reconnect with people that I haven't seen in so long, except via
That's
social
the point,
media.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We actually spent, when did we do Eve? What year was that? Was that?
I feel like that was 2018,
Holy
which
crap.
2 years ago.
Time flies.
Yeah.
So in 2018, we were in Boston for about 3 months working on a movie called Eve, now maybe known as Ava.
Yes. Something like that.
I love how confused we both are.
I know.
And
We're like, something like that.
we like actually worked on the project.
We totally did.
What's so weird to me is that like we both were kind of talking about this off camera. We've gotten a residual check for the movie.
Yeah.
I have no idea where the movie is.
It's literally not released anywhere.
That's
so
what I was thinking.
I knew they did something in France with it, but
Like a screening or like a short
screening,
release?
but I don't know how we're getting residuals, but it's all good.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I just want to see it though.
I know, me too.
Like,
I'm
I'm
really
really-
curious to see how everything turned out.
Yeah.
You're the best, like, man, I'm just saying, you're so organized. Guys, if anybody gets a chance to work with Travis, drop everything, like, not your pants, but like drop your life and go work for Travis, because you're so organized. It was wild.
I try to be. I think what I tell all my friends is like once I start getting the chance to coordinate, I try to do things differently or try to do them the way that I wish they were done when I was a performer.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's super helpful because you are a performer. You were a performer, so you understand what you like and don't like. Yeah. It was crazy.
I try to keep people like not in the dark, be like as communicative as possible.
Yeah. And you're like, if we don't need you this hour, you guys can go do something else. And I'm like, what?
Exactly.
Yeah, you and Jeff were great.
I'm trying to get a reputation for that.
Yeah,
I
you
feel
got
like
it.
if your performers are happy, they'll perform better for you.
Exactly. You don't want unhappy performers.
There's guys that like, I know some coordinators will bring you on set and like understandable you're on contract, but I know some guys like I've been on shows where they'll bring you on set knowing you aren't doing anything just to make you sit there for the flat 8 hours and then be like, okay, go home.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn.
Whether it's like a power move or just they feel like they're doing their job.
Yeah.
You know, but
So insane.
you were great.
Well,
You
I
were
appreciate
great.
it. And you
Yeah.
were great because
you.
we were in a tough position there because we needed someone to double Jessica Chastain. And we needed someone very talented because we were working with Jeff Amata, who does very different choreography
Yeah.
than what you're used to.
Yeah. He's awesome. Oh my God.
Master Amata-san.
He just comes in and is like, can you do this? I'm thinking this.
I know.
And I'm like, what did you just do? He's like, I don't know. Do it though.
My favorite thing about his process is like, as you've seen, he'll be like, feed me. And we'll just like throw a punch and he'll do like 20 different things. And he's like, what did I do?
Yeah, no, literally. And everybody's trying to like take notes like, you did something here.
So now I just film him at all times. And then I just go back and scrub through. And I'm like,
super smart.
this is crazy.
He's great. It was really fun.
It was a unique project. It was, for those that don't know, and like what's crazy is we're talking about it. We haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, by the way.
So if any of you out there can locate it, it's a movie with Jessica Chastain, Colin Farrell, John Malkovich, and Common, the rapper.
Yeah.
We have a great cast.
Yeah, it was super cool cast. It was with Voltage Pictures. I worked with them before. Last time I worked with them, it took them like 3 years to get my film out. So you never know. They're going through the rounds, you know.
Totally.
It's a process, but hopefully we'll see it.
And that's
sometime.
like such a crazy story to us, which is when we hired you as the lead stunt double, we actually turned in all your contract info, of course. And like you said, Voltage Pictures, the producers recognized you and were like, we know Amy, but we hired her as an actress. I love the face that you made.
That's the confusing part.
And that's like one of the crazy things about you. Even before I started the show, I was like, what do you want me to call you? You're not like, you're a stunt woman, but you're very much pursuing an acting career. So like, what is the focus right now, I guess?
Yeah. I know it's confusing because everybody wants to put you in a box, right?
Of course.
It's normal. It's human nature. So it depends on who I'm talking to. But typically I'm an actress and I do my own stunts. And then here and there, I'll do stunt work with people like you and Jeff and fun little projects. But mainly it's acting.
That's amazing. And how long have you been like really focused on this part of your career, I guess, or this?
Like 4 years now, I guess. I kind of like stopped the stunt world about 4 years ago. I let things kind of trickle in, but I don't really work towards that. I've been doing a lot more acting. So, because I like both. I just wanted to pursue acting more.
I was going to ask, is that something that you always had a goal of doing, like since you were younger?
Yeah, I wanted to do both, you know, like acting, stunts, and everyone's like, nope, do one or the other. I'm like, okay, sure, I'll figure it out. Thanks, bye.
That's so funny.
So yeah, it's just hard to do at the same time because people don't understand what you are. They're like, I hired her as an actress, but she's doing stunts. Like, what is she?
Yeah.
So I get the confusion, but I like it all.
That's funny. And like with that decision to like consciously push forward that the last 4 years, do you find yourself turning down stunt jobs as a result of it?
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
And it's no disrespect to people or like the jobs, because I would rather give them to somebody who really wants those jobs in a position where I used to be, like somebody who has been working hard towards that. It's just not my goal right now. So.
And it's so funny to hear because so many of our listeners that are listening are people probably very much dying to get as many stunt jobs as possible.
And I get it. I was there. I totally get it. Actually, this is crazy. I just remembered on one of my very first stunt jobs, you helped me out, Travis. You gave me a bunch of your stunt pads for Captain America Winter Soldier. You like showed me your whole bag. I was like barely making rent. I was so broke.
Yeah.
And I got that job and you were like, okay, here's the bag. This is what you need. And I was like, holy crap, this guy is like so helpful, so sincere. Like,
so funny.
I will never forget that. You helped me out so much.
And I was literally going to bring that up. Like, it's so surreal for me to see is like back then, for those that don't know, you got the chance to double Black Widow.
Yeah.
Like very early on in your stunt career. And it was like a huge opportunity because it was you as well as Heidi Moneymaker.
Yeah. It was like one of the best.
In my opinion, one of the best.
Yeah.
And for you to be like in the mix with her just very much speaks volumes about you and your character and your skills. And
Thank you.
it was cool to see you get the chance back in the day.
Yeah, it was cool. It didn't feel like it was early on in my career. Like I was super broke and hustling for a long time, just not in the proper ways. I didn't know how to hustle. Like I just tried to meet people and like did things online. But I was trying for like 4 years. I was super broke for 4 years, like living in my car a lot of times, like ramen noodles, the whole thing, you know? So it's not like I just jumped into the world. I really worked to get there.
It's cool for people to hear that side of things, especially when they see the end goal that you're at now. Even for me, like I think people have always equated that I was always working, and I have been, but like there were times where, like you said, like me and Daniel Graham, there was like 4 of us in a 2-bedroom eating hot dogs and beans every night. Like, yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, 4 of us in a 2-bedroom, and like I would go to sleep in my bedroom, and then Danny would get to play video games in the living room. Cause,
really?
Like, we were just switching off. Yeah.
When was this?
This was 2009, 2008.
Yeah. See, I look at you and I think this guy has been successful for so long. He's been working for so long. Like I can't imagine that.
Franks and beans. Yeah. Me and Danny have a joke. Franks and beans. Remember, Papa? Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy, so crazy how much things have changed. And it's not just because like things are coming to you. You work really hard.
Thank you.
You decide to do things and then you do them, which is so rare. Most
Same
people
to
just
you.
talk, you know, like.
Same to you. There's so many things I want to talk to you about on this podcast. Like before you came, I was like, where am I going to start? Because like, just like myself, there's so many avenues you pursued and stuff as well.
Yeah.
So I guess like before we talk about like current stuff, I kind of want to like go backwards a little bit. But before we even talk about your martial arts history, I think how you kind of brought up the story about me and Captain America. I don't know if you know this, but you really helped me out a lot in the sense of, you probably didn't know it, but a video that you did with a bunch of the boys actually really helped get a lot of attention for my gym White Lotus back in the day.
Really?
Yeah. Yo, Armand, click the White Lotus one, and you'll recognize this one right away.
That's crazy.
So
that helped your
this really helped us a lot. Yeah, because back in the day, so like a lot of people know, when I first opened White Lotus, we spent $0 on advertising. The only thing we did was I put out a video of a niece doing corkscrews, and I started putting out tricking videos. And then shortly thereafter, this video that you put out with a bunch of the old school guys from like 1,000 Pounds days, this went like super viral.
Yes.
This was like on tons of different websites besides just YouTube and stuff. And it brought a lot of notoriety in my gym because people were like, who's this crazy girl kicking ass? And then also like, where's this place at?
Yeah.
And so without you knowing it, this really helped me out a lot.
Oh, that makes me so happy. It's wild how some videos like go viral and some don't. Like this was like a previs for something we were doing with Stanley.
Yeah.
And nothing ever came to fruition with that job. But like this, I'm not quite sure why this is the video that brought all the attention, but I'm so happy it did.
Of all the videos you've done.
For a lot of performers too. Like this gave me some of my first like auditions, and it helped a lot of the other performers in there as well. It's weird.
And did you guys shoot that in the course of a day, or like, because this looks like you're literally at open gym right there.
Oh yeah,
I see people breakdancing.
I think it was open gym. It was literally it was, I don't know, 3 hours or something. Wow. I came in sick. I was like, every break I was going to the bathroom and throwing up.
No way.
It was nothing to us. It was just like, let's shoot this fun fight.
Yeah.
So that's awesome to hear.
It's crazy.
That makes me really happy.
It's back in the days when we were all so hungry.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like you have to like push that hunger these days? Because like you're doing so much and you're always busy. Do you ever feel like you need to like re-motivate yourself?
100%.
Yeah.
It's really hard. And I also have to like put things in perspective. A lot of times. I think the biggest thing I'm trying to do right now in my life is find balance.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like you come across this as well sometimes. It's
yeah.
I'll have to throw this picture online of like a graph my friend posted the other day, and it was a really funny meme. It said what I thought would make me productive, and it's like a pie graph that says hard work 100%. And he's like, what really makes me productive? And it's a same graph where it's like hard work is 40%, rest is 15%, like free time is another 15%, sleep is like 15, working out. And I was like, damn.
Yes.
It's very easy to lose sight of all the things that help get you to this point.
Yes, 100%.
Once you're here.
Yeah, because like you just wrapped on your show, which you were on for so long, Stumptown.
Yeah,
right?
9 months.
Yeah, so it's like during that, you don't have much time to do anything else. Your mind is so focused, and then when you get home, you're like, I'm tired, I'm gonna try to chill and get some sleep before the next crazy day. And so you lose sight easily of everything that got you to where you are. Like it's a natural thing.
It's very surreal. It's a blessing and a curse.
Yes.
Like we like to say, right?
Yeah, of course. You know.
As we sit up here and we're complaining about work.
No, not even not complaining, you know, but it's a thing. It's like when you have the success that you have to find ways to like reignite that inspiration, motivation, and keep pushing and not just staying comfortable with where you are.
Totally.
So
and that's something that like I was going to ask you about, because this is kind of a two-part question, which is at the current state, how often do you find yourself physically training, especially with how much you're focusing on acting? And then the second part of that question, which is going to delve into a deeper question, which is how long have you been training in general?
So yeah, I still train. I'm just not very social. I like train by myself. Martial arts is like, that's my whole life. That's who I am. That's how I express myself. So I'm always training. I used to like trick and stuff. I used to try that really hard. Like I was doing corks and stuff. I was just throwing stuff. I haven't done that in a long time.
It's like, so funny to see.
Like, that's not, there's so many amazing, talented people. And I'm like, I'm not going to compete with them. I'm going to keep doing what I do, which is martial arts and acting. But so I guess I work out like 4 times a week.
Okay.
I'll do martial arts at least like twice a week in one way or another.
Okay.
Whether that's like an internal thing of just finding the time to like think and meditate on things and like do like a slower movement type of process, or go kick pads and stuff. But I need that. That's how I feel like myself. But
I definitely lose myself the times I don't train.
Right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Like how many times do you train? And then especially now, like
it's just kind of like you talked about with Stumptown. You get in a rut where you can only train as much as your body allows you or your schedule allows.
Yeah.
So right now, I'm literally on the only thing I want to do the next month is focus on training and getting my taxes done.
Oh God, taxes!
Reminder, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Shout out to all you Americans. We got a month.
Shout out to taxes.
We got a month left. Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's definitely important to keep training, but it's hard. And then like, when you have a really intense job coming up, you're like, I want to train, but don't want to overtrain. I don't want to injure myself. It's like you're finding that balance of staying up to par and getting better and progressing, but also like you're not being too crazy.
Yeah.
Because I used to be that. I used to just be crazy, and like I injured myself. I tore my ACL, so I learned my lesson.
Just overtraining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And trying things when I wasn't ready or like I wasn't thinking about it. So
totally.
Yeah, I'm sure you've been there.
100%. And it's really funny because like we share a lot of the same sentiments in the fact that we were both, we almost didn't have a choice starting our martial arts journeys. So I won't talk about my story, but like how did your martial arts journey start so the people out there know?
So similar to you, my dad was a martial artist and like a kickboxing champion. And I grew up in that environment. He owned martial arts schools, a bunch of different ones. My brother was into martial arts. My mom was martial arts, and like, that was my life.
Born into the gym,
yeah,
right?
And like kung fu films and all the like Shaw Brothers stuff and all the cheesy like Kung Pao stuff. Like that's the stuff I grew up on.
Yes.
And so I missed out on a lot of like good award-winning movies because of that. Like I still have a lot of catching up to do.
I'm still watching the classics.
Yeah. Amy, have you seen Titanic? No, but I've seen like Pootie Tang. I don't know, like all these stupid cheesy
it's so
films.
Funny. I feel you.
But yeah, so my father was a big inspiration.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just kept moving forward with it.
Do you remember how old you were when you officially started training?
He said he held pads in the crib, and I would he was like he was waiting for somebody to train like that. But I think I got serious around 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What about you?
I officially same thing. They were doing like stretching drills when I was super young, like 6 months and stuff.
6 months stretching drills.
But my first competition, I was 3.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I was 3 and I competed in the 7-year-old division because they didn't have competitions for kids that young. So
that is amazing, Travis.
yeah, it's pretty wild. The story that my mom tells is very surreal. I'm going to have her on here eventually to talk about it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's crazy. So 6 years old. And so what? You're 21 now, so you've been training.
I'm only 21. I was like, are you really going to say my age?
I'm not going to say your age, baby. We're homies. I'm not going to shout you out. I was just joking.
If we weren't homies, you'd
That was
say my
so
name.
funny, yeah. But yeah, so when you're 6 years old, you started your martial arts journey. And what style did you start in specifically?
So my father taught a progressive system, which blends a bunch of things together.
Yep.
Our niece and Kali, and then kickboxing, BJJ, kung fu, karate, kempo. So just a blend of things that he put together and put it into his own art, I suppose.
Yeah. And so like as a kid, how often were you training? Were you at the gym every day?
Every day, yeah. Like we would sleep there. That was my home.
Damn.
It was super fun. Yeah. I'm sure it was the same for you, right?
It was the same for me.
Yeah. That was your home. And so now I feel like weird without having that. Like after I left that, and I don't have that every day, it's weird. But you still have that because you have a gym.
I do.
Do you get the time to like have that environment, or is it busy being like?
Yeah, I rarely get to go to jam, and it hurts it really drains my soul. But I think the coolest thing though to me though is that for those that do go to jam, and a lot of people know, my mom is like a fixture at jam. And I think like people ask me like, what's jam done? What's the most beneficial thing it's done for you? And for me, I think it's the fact that I have a place for my mom to go to like every day. Like Armand back here, he can attest to it. Like I get videos from these guys, like DMs from my friends that are like training with my mom at 10 p.m. on a weeknight.
I love that so much.
And I'm like, what the hell is my mom doing at the gym at 10 p.m.,
She's a boss. She's the queen of that gym.
It's so cool. And
she's so inspiring.
She's very inspiring. She still trains, I think she still goes to the gym every day from like 4:30, 5 p.m. and she leaves at like 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock. Yeah, Armand saying yeah.
And that's
somewhere around there,
Yeah. That's Monday through Friday. And then Saturday she goes in and trains, 12 o'clock on. And she takes Belinta walk Sunday nights with Brian Sloyer.
Really?
Yeah.
Just because she loves it.
Yeah, she's a martial artist,
So I have a question for you. Was there ever a point in your life where you were trying to push away the martial arts because that's all you kind of had?
I was literally
I'm
gonna
curious.
ask you.
Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna ask you the same thing.
Because yours is even more aggressive. Like 3 years old competing.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I definitely stopped competing when I hit high school. For lack of a better explanation, I hit a lot of goals. I got inducted into the Inside Kung Fu Hall of Fame at 14.
Nice.
I kind of thought it was the shit.
Yeah.
But I also was like, dude, this is something my parents waited till they were in their 40s to get into. What else can I achieve at this point? And it was right around that time that I really started discovering tricking and acrobatics and girls. And so
all online or like?
So I completely just quit like martial arts cold turkey in high school.
Really?
Like 14 years old.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't pick it up again until like the end of high school, like 16, 17, when I started filming fight scenes with Vlad Rimberg. And that's how I got back into training.
That is so weird.
Can you believe that? Yeah.
With Vlad at how old?
Yeah, me and Vlad went to the same high school. Vlad is a year, he looks way older, but he was only like a grade ahead of me.
Thanks, Travis. Vlad, you look great.
He shaved right now, so he looks baby-faced.
Yeah.
But so check this out. Me and Vlad have been shooting fight scenes together for 18 years.
What? Mm-hmm. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wait, where did you go to high school?
We went to Granada Hills High School. We started by filming Jackass videos in a series called Key Up. and we would film karate mixed with jackass.
Where are these?
They're online.
Yes.
I'll send you one. It's classic. It's classic. There's a one-on-one fight scene that me and Vlad did in my old kung fu school.
Oh my gosh.
It is horrendous.
Don't you love how the internet just keeps everything?
It's
like
amazing.
all the things from
amazing.
your past. It's just like, there you go, forever.
Yeah, it's amazing to see. At the same time, we're kind of proud. We're like, dude, we were shooting fight scenes on tripods, but like our cuts were there. So
And look at you guys now.
I know.
Started from the bottom, now you're here.
So question for you then. You started at 6. Did you ever hit a rebellion point or a point where you were like, you had to step away?
No.
Damn.
I know. No, I was just like, how do I make money with this?
Oh, okay.
Because like, you get to the point in high school where you're like, okay, college, that's what people do, right? So I've been doing this thing my whole life. How do I make money with this? It's like, you can get scholarships or you can just figure out something entirely different with your life. And I was like, nah, I think I'll just make money with this in movies. But I didn't hit a point of like rebellion.
Damn.
Rebellious.
Lucky parents.
Really? No, I was super like rebellious in other ways, but
okay.
not with martial arts.
And so what was it like growing up? Like I always try to get this perspective from other kids because it was so unique to me. But like, what was it like growing up in a martial arts household? Like, did you feel a lot of pressure to get better, or did you want to get better for yourself? I don't know if you really know.
That's a good question. I don't think I thought about it. I think it was just like a way of life. It was like eating, breathing almost. It was just chaos and martial arts all the time. I don't know. I didn't think about that. Did you?
I think I didn't think about it as a kid, but as I get older, I thought about it. That I think I did it at first for them, and then I hit a certain point where I became obsessed with wanting to do new stuff for myself. So I think maybe it progressed for me over time, but I did feel like a sense of like, I don't know if this was the same for you, but like when my dad's friends would come, I'd have to do a demonstration. Like,
yeah.
There's lots of things where I was like, I'm not doing this for me.
Yes. Like you didn't really have a choice. Yeah, I felt that way.
But then like over time, I guess like when I learned about tricks and stuff like that, that's when I kind of started doing stuff for myself.
Yeah, you're like, this is me. This is something I created.
Yeah, my parents couldn't tell me how to do a lot of the moves I was looking up. And so
because they don't know how to do it.
Exactly.
Like, ha-ha.
And so that's when I got like my own sense of identity, I guess.
Huh, interesting. And then you brought your old identity back and merged them together. And
of course,
look
right.
at you now.
Look at me now,
Yeah,
right?
man.
My other question for you is, what was it like growing up as not only a martial arts kid, but as a female? Like, what was that like having a martial arts journey from a kid? Because it's kind of a rarity, especially in American culture and society. Not to put you in a box, but like a lot of other females growing up do a lot more traditional sports, from gymnastics to cheerleading to dance and stuff like that. Yeah. And did you have a unique journey as a female martial artist? Did you feel like ostracized at all, or did you just, Yeah,
definitely. And I did those. I did gymnastics and dance and cheerleading and like volleyball and basketball and all that. But with martial arts, it was a small town, and so I was like the martial artist that a lot of people wanted to fight and like see my skills, because it was rare, I guess. Yeah. But I also like enjoyed the being different and having that about me. I didn't see it as a problem, but I did get into a few fights because of that. Nothing serious, like just stupid high school fights, but they definitely wanted to see what the karate girl could do.
Of course.
And guys would pick on me a lot, and I would like kick them in the groin, and like it was like, I don't know.
No, I feel you. I used to get tested in high school a lot.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, and especially as a guy, like guys don't really hold back. They're just like, hey, what's up, bro?
Oh, it's total ego test,
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
did you fight a lot?
No, I was very good with my words, and like more than anything, like I even in my adult life, I try to just be friends with as many people as possible.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're super social.
Same principle applied,
Yeah. Yeah. So. For those of you out there, don't fight.
Yeah.
Use your words.
Exactly. And then for those that don't know your story, where exactly was this small town that you grew up in? Where are you originally from?
Yeah. It's a town called Gillette in Wyoming.
Okay.
Small little town.
Super small town.
Not much to do.
I'm not going to lie. I can't name many towns in Wyoming.
That's okay. Cheyenne's the capital.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
I know that.
Or Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Okay.
Jackson is beautiful.
Of course.
Yeah. But it's okay.
And so at what age do you make the decision to move to Los Angeles?
As soon as I could. So I left at 18. Well, like 17 and a half.
Wow.
I like saved up some of my money from like crappy jobs and moved to LA, like a little studio, like a garage studio behind somebody's house. And my money went away so fast. And I was like, oh my God. So I started doing a bunch of extra work and stuff. But it was 17, 18.
Wow. And how long had you prepared for that? Like you kind of mentioned you kind of always wanted to be an actress, but at what point did you start to realize like, okay, LA's the move for sure?
At like 14.
Damn.
Yeah, I really wanted it.
Damn.
I really wanted it. Nothing else made sense. It's like, you know, like in life, there's a lot of like logical steps, but there's something so deep about what you really, really want. And I think a lot of people block that off. And I don't know, I knew that at an earlier age, I suppose. And I just always, I think it's because my parents allowed me to like actually go for what I want.
Yeah.
And weren't holding me down to be something else that I didn't want to be. So it's probably because of that I allowed myself to keep thinking about what I really want to do.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's super wild. I find myself like kind of spoiled in a lot of ways because I'm actually born and raised here in the Valley.
Yeah.
So when I hear these stories of people that actually transplant their entire life, to me, that's like one of the most courageous things in the world, you know? Like it's insane. I've yet to transplant my entire life and start someone fresh.
You don't need to.
I know, I don't need to, but I
Yeah.
always find that like so amazing. And
I don't know, because it kind of goes both ways, because I think a lot of people that live here sometimes have it harder because they're jaded from the industry, from growing up and being around it. They're like, I don't want to be around that, and I'm not excited to start that.
Yeah.
So it also, I mean, that's also really tough.
You're really right, because
Yeah.
as a kid, I kind of took it for granted because I was around this stuff all the
It's
time.
nothing to you.
I didn't fully pursue it because, you know, you get a call like, hey, there's an audition. All right, I'll go.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like I had to like
No.
make a goal to live out here.
I drove out here because I had an audition. I thought it was like the biggest thing in my life. I was like, I'm driving out there. This is going to happen. Like, I got this. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to meet somebody. They're going to see me, you know, like, so it's a different mindset of you being here around here all the time. It's just like, you know, so it's, I think you're courageous for continuing to push.
Yeah. Well, that is crazy to me. I still can't believe you moved out here at 18 years old. And so when you first moved out here, how long was it before you started actually booking entertainment jobs? And were they stunt jobs at first, or did you have to do
I did some weird
odd
jobs.
stuff? Yeah, I was going to ask you,
jobs.
what kind of stuff did you do?
Some are still online.
Oh my God. Okay. Funny ones. Well, you don't have to say them so people don't Google
No,
them.
it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I would never. No, it's just a lot of like, I was trying to pay rent.
Yeah.
I did a lot of extra work at first to like learn how to be on set, you know.
Okay.
It really wasn't until I started training like at White Lotus, and places where there was a community that I started meeting people and then started like building something into what I could get booked off of. But before that, I was doing like just Craigslist all day, every day, some weird stuff.
Single day jobs.
Yeah.
Cash jobs. Things.
Some weird like superhero stuff. Things that I didn't understand. I was,
That's
you know.
so funny.
Nothing too terrible.
Yeah, I was
but
gonna
like
say.
I'm like building this up. Like it's not that bad.
People are like over here, like
what is
looking
she
up
doing?
weird
Now
stuff.
they're looking, no, it wasn't that bad. It's just like things I'm not proud of.
That's so funny.
That aren't good quality or stuff.
I mean, and like, you know, that's kind of the point of this podcast is like for other people out there to hear your story, to like see where you're at now and to hear that you had to do extra work and you were doing, you know, single day jobs. I think it's really inspiring. So.
Yeah, of course. I think you have to. I think it's important to know what struggling feels like.
Yes.
Because if you don't know what struggling feels like, it's hard to like to care about success. But when you don't have that, if you don't have the money, if you don't have like the things that you want them more, obviously. So super important to struggle.
You have to have both sides of the spectrum, you know.
Always. And with anything, like with any growth as a person, as a human, you need struggle and like combat, you know, like issues to figure out and to grow from them. So super important.
And so, do you remember what officially got you into SAG, or do you remember your first job that got you into the union?
Yeah, it was with Danny Wayne. It was a Disney show.
Okay.
He was awesome. He's like one of those people that helped me, like you.
Yeah, Danny's been great to me too.
Lovely human. He saw videos of me doing like fight scenes with Sean Charney.
Oh my God. No way.
Yeah.
Shout out Sean Charney, by
love
the way.
Sean Charney.
Oh my goodness.
Saw me doing fight scenes with him.
Oh my
and
God.
Danny brought me in and was like, I know you want to do stunts. Like, let's see how you ride a wire. Let's see how you act on like a rehearsal stage. And he like taught me some things, and he allowed me to be on an episode of Pair of Kings as a stunt person. And like that just changed my world because he like opened me up to that. You know, sometimes it's really hard to get in there. It can be the hardest thing to get your foot in the door. But that's why people like you or Danny Wayne, like you guys are amazing for, trying to bring in those newcomers. It's so important.
I just got to our guest, I think 2 episodes ago, or maybe even be, 2 episodes ago, I actually just got to taft him on a show. And it was super surreal for him. He's been trying to get into this SAG for like 5 years. Ooh. So Ryan Clarenbach. Yeah, he's like a calisthenics athlete that is trying to fully break into stunts. And for someone who has like, this guy's got 350,000 followers. He lives off of brand deals, but he's trying to hit the ground. Like came in and did like a super low budget job for me, but he's like, I don't care. I'm just trying to get into stunts. And so I saw the passion. I was like, yeah.
You got him?
I got him tafted.
That's everything. Yeah. Really. Like people have to continue to do that so that it's not just the same people cycling, with any corporation, with any job, with any business. Like you need the new blood.
Got to give people a chance.
Yeah, new ideas, new everything. So and that's awesome. So cool. You did that.
It's super cool to hear that Danny Wayne is the one that tafted you or got you in because, just to hear stories of guys being great like him, like I can attest to him being an amazing human. So yeah,
seriously human, seriously amazing human. Yeah. So I'm really grateful for people like that.
Dang, that's crazy. And so shortly after that, I guess you get tafted in the industry. You really start focusing on stunts and stuff like that. Would you consider Captain America your first major film as a stunt double?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I did like some TV shows before that, and I did a film called Raise, James Young. Yes. And little things like that. But Captain America Winter Soldier was easily my biggest thing. And walking into that was very intimidating because people were looking at me like, who is this new girl? Like, what is she bringing that we don't already have? And how did she get this job? There was a lot of like weird pressure.
Totally.
Which is normal for somebody that's young. So I learned a lot on that job. I learned so much about like where I can bring in my voice and where I need to like trust myself and things like that you don't learn until you're in that position. Yeah. So that was definitely my first big like stunt doubling job for sure.
That's super cool. And now, is there a stunt moment or anything like early on in your career that you remember was like kind of pivotal? Like this could be in a couple of different senses. Like some guys say like, yeah, I have one gag I'll always remember because it was the scariest thing I've ever done. In your case, I'm wondering like, is there a gag or a stunt job where you were like, okay, for sure, I want to be an actress. I'm over this. Like,
oh no, I was never over it.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just curious if there's like a pivotal moment,
Yes, for sure. A pivotal moment. Yeah. So I never had the pivotal moment of like, I don't want to hit the ground anymore.
Okay.
But I had the pivotal moment of like, oh my God, what am I doing? Because I did a lot of like music videos trying to like get into stunts, right? Ton of music videos of like, yeah, I'll come in and I'll do whatever,
Totally.
And there was this one music video. Oh my God. There's this one music video where I had to like jump out of the window in heels and everything was great. It was my first window break. But then shortly after, they brought a horse to set, and they're like, "You're from Wyoming, you can ride horses, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I grew up riding horses, but I haven't worked with this horse, like I haven't trained with this horse. Like, what do you want me to do?" And there was no coordinator on set. It was a music video, and I don't, you don't know these things, guys. You don't know these things when you're getting in.
Know,
Like this is unfortunately, how I learned.
Oh my God.
I didn't get it. I just like thought that I didn't. Anyways, I got on the horse. They just wanted me to take the horse down the road.
Yeah.
And there was no rehearsal. I didn't know how to speak up and say anything for myself. And I thought it was fine. So I got on the horse and they they started filming. And all of a sudden, I was going on the horse, and then there were a bunch of like explosions that happened that I knew nothing about.
And
that the horse hadn't. Yeah, it spooked the horse. The horse started like running off and doing crazy bucks and running off towards a pole to like try to freaking hit me. And I jumped off the horse and rolled off, and it was super scary because I didn't know how to deal with any of that. So that was an experience where I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, and I need to tell people what I want to do, what I don't want to do, what I can and can't do, because I'm never going to get myself in that situation again.
That is crazy.
So for anybody listening, please be careful. I know sometimes you're in positions where you need money, and you want to like get into the business, but there are ways to do so. So the more you learn, the more you understand before getting into those situations, the better. So.
That is a wild story, but I totally believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, even myself, like I lately I've been coordinating a bunch of like higher budget music videos.
Yeah.
And even still, There's a lot of corners cut because they're like single day shoots.
Yeah.
They're just throwing together, just trying to get the job done.
They get away with it, and it's understood, but yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're okay.
Oh yeah, I'm fine.
So
it's
insane.
just like,
Yeah.
I felt pretty cool, like jumping off and rolling.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's pretty badass.
Pretty
right?
cool.
And so we just found out about like your first SAG job. Do you remember what your first like I guess major acting role would have been, where you kind of stepped in front?
It was the Lady Blood fight with Voltage Pictures, yeah.
Of course.
That I got that audition from that fight video, at White Lotus.
No way.
Literally, yeah. They contacted me. Voltage Pictures contacted me like through Facebook, and they're like, "We can't find you. Are you like a professional or
Who
what?"
are you?
Yeah. I'm like, "I'm sorry." And they brought me into audition, and I got that job. Before that, I was just doing like short films and stuff from like different film schools out here, and I didn't really have anything to show, but I got to audition, and it worked.
And you were the lead of that?
Yeah.
No way. And how long did you guys film that, and where'd you film that?
We filmed that in Hong Kong. And we filmed that for like, I was in Hong Kong for 3 months.
Dang.
It's like a 28-day shoot though, so it was really aggressive.
Okay. Can you pull up Lady Bloodfight, Armand? Are there any of those over there? Let's take a look at some of these references really fast here. So, can you talk us through what this scene is?
This was the very first trailer that came out. It's in a different language, I think. It's really interesting seeing yourself get dubbed over.
I was going to ask you, yeah. And so you obviously did it in English, and it was just dubbed in a bunch of other languages.
Yeah. So it's like a Bloodsport remake type thing. It was initially called Lady Bloodsport.
No,
of course. It was directed by Chris Nahon, who did a lot of like Jet Li films and stuff. Really cool director.
Dope.
First time acting and doing stunts. I had a stunt double. It was my first time having a stunt double.
I was going to ask you, how is that? Is that weird? Pull up the other one, Armand. What's it like having a stunt double, knowing that you can do your own stuff? Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I love it. It's a jam.
I know, it's so fun.
At first I hated it because of my ego. And I was like, this is why I'm here. I'm going to do my own stunts. Like, this is why I'm here. This is why you're paying me, is because I can do all this.
Totally.
But then I realized, like, oh, wait, I can focus on my lines, and I don't have to hurt my body, and I can just jump in after you
do the stuff where you see your face. Yeah.
And it's amazing.
It's so funny,
right? So for a lot of people out there, like, I know you want to do everything, but really that's why the stunt people are there, is to keep you safe, make you look better, and, like, allow the actors to act.
And it's so funny to hear you say that, because like I'm sure you've been on jobs before where I've been on tons of jobs where the lead actors want to do everything themselves.
Yeah.
And you're trying to talk them out of it, but it's funny, you even knowing that, you still wanted to do your own stuff.
I know. It's terrible. That's what I'm saying. Like,
come on.
I know you all want to do your own stuff because it's fun. It's like you wait so long for a role to, or the moment that you want, and you're like, you want to exploit the moment. But the moment can look much better with better people around you or a good team around you. That's all that matters, really. So. And
also, like, if you are the star of the movie, I just know this from like wrapping Stumptown recently. My lead, Kobe Smulders, she is in every scene almost every day, all 10 to 12 hours a day. So it's like she doesn't have time to train as much as everyone else. Like, she's running on fatigue, and it's like at a certain point you really need the stunt double, just because from a safety perspective. Yeah, and if the any of the actors go down with any injuries, that's a lot of money that needs to be taken care of. Oh, so, it's like, it's not worth it. Yes. But yeah, of course you want to do your own stunts. Yeah, that's like the goal, right? Yeah. Yeah. What about you? Do you act? And I do act. Yeah, but I have yet to fully make the commitment like you, where like the last 4 years you're fully focused on that. Right now, because I keep getting the calls, and because it's like not easy for me, but I enjoy it. I've just been riding the coordinator wave, Yeah. Yep. So. Yeah. Ride it as long as you can, because it may never, when it's there, like, calls may stop one day. Yeah. I don't think they will for you ever, but like they may stop. But that's why I like I said, like, I give you so much credit for like, moving out here and also making the decision to consciously act. It's because it's a scary thing to walk away from what you're good at and what you get paid for. And like we make a very good living in stunts. Yes. And so to walk away from that stability and focus on acting is something that, like, I really, really give you a lot of respect for. Thank you. It's like, if you're afraid of it, you should probably do it. Totally. Like, if you're comfortable, you should probably figure out something to do to where you're uncomfortable. Not enough people believe in that. I try to tell people that all the time. That, like, even I find myself being comfortable, I'll push myself out of that comfort zone. Really? How do you push yourself out of the comfort zone? By honestly taking on stuff more than I can chew sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like for me, a lot of my friends, they have a lot of ideas and things like that. And I'll be the same way. I'll have a lot of ideas and stuff. And while I will plan purposely for it, there's some times where I'll just pull the trigger because it'll force me
too,
to have to then pull through.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
I will literally like write on a schedule book a date where I need to have something finished, and I won't think about it until there's that date.
Totally.
And then I do it regardless if it's ready or perfect, because like we can wait forever on something being perfect, right? But like just get it done.
Just do it.
Just get it done and do it better next time.
It's so funny. Yeah.
Super important.
Especially with how self-conscious people can be.
It's especially when you're in the bubble of like stunts and you see the same people over and over and you see that they're doing successful things. It's like, I don't want to put myself out there and make myself look bad. Like there's all these, it's scary, but just put yourself out there. People don't care.
Yeah. One of the things that I've like really learned, and it's only like come into perspective last couple of years, which is in this business and in life in general, there's so many things that are out of our control. So like the very few times that I can have full control, especially when it's like things I want to do for myself, I just go 100% at it, because there's very few times where I can actually have control of my destiny and what I want to do.
Yeah. I think you are one of those people that fully harnesses that.
Yeah.
Like you take control of most things that you can.
Exactly.
Yeah, I really respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really respect that.
And says the lady that's done so much. We've like just scratched the surface of your life.
Oh man,
You're so funny.
You never gonna talk about you.
You're so
like,
funny.
You've done way more than me.
Yeah. Says the lady that I'm just about to talk about some badass things, and one of the things I wanted to ask you about, which is you've now gotten to be in a bunch of other roles, and I kind of I don't want to sandwich them together because I want to talk about them specifically, but you've now had the chance to fight some legends in, for lack of a better term, the action world, especially in the martial arts cinematic world. You've gotten to fight Cecep from the Raid. You've gotten to fight Scott Adkins. Is there a scene that stands out to you in your mind, or are there moments from each of those that like were memorable for you? Because that seems like a cool experience, but also like a lot of pressure.
Yeah. I mean, it's those moments that you wait for, right? Like I've been waiting for those moments.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm just starting really. But Cecep was the most humble person to ever work with. Like he's a true master. And I was geeking out a lot with him, and just like I found myself just asking him questions about his mindset, and like I couldn't leave him alone. He's amazing.
So funny.
So in a short film we did called The Gate, it's
Yes.
supposed to be a feature film. I'm not quite sure what's happening with it now.
Okay.
But I did a one-on-one fight with him.
Yes.
And that was extremely memorable. All of that, because he choreographed it. And
I was going to ask you who choreographed it.
Yeah, he choreographed it, but also like allowed me to bring in what I want. So he was just amazing to work with. His movements are fantastic and sharp, and with such style. So like he's my favorite person I've ever fought.
Wow.
He's amazing.
I was going to ask you. Okay. And that's amazing to hear, because you fought a lot of people over the years. And
yeah. And you it's all about like, I don't know, like a fight of the matchup, or like dance partners. It's like some people work well together and some people don't work as well. And
Agreed.
He's amazing.
Wow. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Super insane. And then what film was it that you got to work with Scott Adkins on?
It was called Accident Man.
Yes.
It's a really, really funny film. Really good. Directed by Amy Johnston, who was a stuntman as well.
No way. Okay.
And he was cool to work with. He was producing that film, and he had like written some of it as well. So there was a lot of pressure on Scott.
Okay.
So he was wearing a lot of different hats. So it was very inspiring to watch him like be doing all these things at once and figuring out the fight and acting and doing the pretty
Totally.
like it's so much. So he's super inspirational to me, and I've been waiting to work with him and like other people that were on there like Michael J. White and stuff. So like, it's an honor, man. It's an honor.
That is so wild. And so like when you're doing these fight scenes against guys that like all of us have like grown up watching and stuff like that, did you go back and like watch old stuff of them? Or were you just like, how did you prepare for these roles? You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I would feel a huge sense of pressure going into a fight against Scott Adkins. I would almost like analyze his old stuff and be like, how does he move? Okay, I got to be fast here and stuff. Like,
no, I mean,
did you do any special preparation for this? Because I would be freaking out, dude.
I was just excited. Like, I had seen a lot of his stuff.
Yeah.
And I know he has certain moves he likes to use.
Yes,
and
of course.
like, just like working through the choreography with Tim, who does choreo, is amazing. And I don't know, it wasn't anything different.
Okay.
It was just like, I better make sure that I bring my A game because like this is a really good moment. So yeah, it was exciting.
That is pretty wild.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and then along the lines of those things, when you're doing like acting and stunts all at once, what do you feel is easier?
Easier?
Yeah. Do you find the acting easier or the fighting easier?
It depends. It totally depends.
I just had to ask
No,
you,
it
yeah.
is because like sometimes acting is easier if I just have to be myself and I'm just like talking. It's great and it's easy and I'm like I'm bored. I want to kick somebody. But then like it's fighting is what I know as well.
Exactly.
So,
That's why I had to ask.
I guess fighting is more physically taxing. Acting is more mentally taxing, especially if you're crying over and over or like having to do something over and over and like bring back those emotions over and over all day. Like it's very emotionally taxing. So
Totally.
I don't think one is more difficult than the other, but both difficult in their own ways.
That's super cool. And now, what do you personally like get inspiration from, like at the current times? Like, do you still watch action genre type movies, or are you more focused on dramatic stuff as you delve into the acting side more? Like, what is Amy watching, or do you watch stuff at all?
I try to watch everything.
Okay.
I just watched. I'm watching Demon Slayer right now, which is an awesome anime. Like I watch a lot of anime. There's some incredible action and storytelling in anime.
Totally.
In video games, like some of the best storytelling is in video games.
Agreed.
Incredible writing. I watch everything.
Okay.
I watch foreign films. I watch a lot of shows. I read a lot is where I get most of my inspiration. And I listen to people who are like smarter than me.
Okay.
I try to. I'm constantly just trying to learn as much as possible and like get as much information as I can.
And growing up, did you have like and I don't mean to make this a sexist or gender-based question, but did you have martial arts idols growing up, and were they males, or did you have any females that you looked up to as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's the Jackie Chan, the Bruce Lee. Michelle Yeoh was my first chick where I was like, oh, I can do that. I think I can do that.
Dope.
She inspired me to really push forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
I think she's doing a project right now too.
She is
with a bunch of our
the
friends.
Lee brothers.
Yeah.
If I can say that, I don't know.
Yeah, I think you can. Yeah. No, that's all good. I got called to work on it too, but I was on Stumptown. I was so bummed.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's amazing.
A lot of good people are working on that film.
Yeah, it's cool. I'd love to work with her. She's on my bucket list. She's amazing.
That was my next question, which is,
God.
who have you not worked with yet that you would like to work with?
I want to work with you more. I want to bring you, like, I want us to work together a lot more.
I've only done like a few things. It's so funny.
I want you to direct, by the way.
That's my goal.
Yeah, man. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That will happen. Michelle Yeoh, Jackie Chan. Come on. I mean, like, there's so many people.
I know.
And just actors. And then there's, like, people in the community that I would love to work with. You know, there's so many talented people in the community that just haven't gotten the chance to put themselves out there. Like,
Totally.
There's so much talent. So tons of people that I'd love to work with.
And that's like one of the things that I think really like helps spearhead your career. And if not, like, obviously it's not to take away from the work that you did individually, but I think one of the things that really did get you out there that took time and effort was a lot of the independent films and fights that you were doing.
Yes.
So before you were working, you were shooting fights with everyone,
Yes.
1,000 pounds, shooting stuff with Vlad, constantly pushing yourself.
Yeah.
Were you doing that from a sense of trying to get footage? Were you doing it from a sense of trying to get better, or were you just filling time? Like
All of it.
Okay.
All of it. Chris Cowan messaged me to like do a fight scene with him and a few other guys before it was like, I guess it was 1,000 pounds, but it hadn't really grown into what it was.
Yeah.
I was like, these guys are talented. I want to work with them. I want to get footage. I want to do something cool. I want to work with other talented martial artists. So it was all of the above. And I'm lucky to have been surrounded around those people. Like, it's hard to be a one-man show. You need to surround yourself with people. Like, you have to. And it's hard to find those people. But once you find those people, that's where you can really start moving, I think.
Yeah, no, and just major shout out to Chris Cowan. For those of you who don't know, Riven X31, Riven X3i,
X3i
X3i on YouTube.
He's phenomenal.
He's absolutely killing it. He's now moved on and helped design action with Brad Allen, worked on the Kingsman movies.
Phenomenal. And so many talented people on that team as well that went on to do a lot.
It's crazy.
It's so cool to see. So like, just like you and Vlad.
Very surreal to look back on the members that were in 1,000 Pounds and the movies and positions they're in now.
So cool.
It's insane.
It really is.
And what's funny to me, though, is that like the reason why I bring this up is because even though we have seen a lot of examples like you guys and all the guys in 1,000 Pounds that have transitioned into amazing steps, not everyone takes the advice and is willing to shoot stuff on their own, like indie stuff.
Right.
You see it here and there, but like I honestly talk about this with Armand and stuff. It's like, if you're not working, what the hell are these people doing? Why are they not shooting stuff, you know?
Right.
And so I think it's cool to hear from your mouth that you actually put like a lot of emphasis on doing free fight scenes just for fun to get better.
So many free things. And I learned how to edit. I learned how to do effects. I learned how to use a camera.
Yeah.
Like you have to do these things. You have to fill your time with learning.
Preach, Amy.
Yeah, I will preach all day. And I know
keep
that,
preaching, please.
And I know that people preach this.
Yes.
It's like, but you can't push people. They have to push themselves. So yeah, you have to keep moving because nobody's going to help you more than you're going to help yourself.
100%. And now, like, what advice would you give to a young kid growing up in Wyoming that wants to get into this business or follow in your footsteps, for lack of a better term? What advice would you give them? Or is there anything that you would have done differently to save time, I guess?
Yeah.
In hindsight, right? Hindsight's always 20/20.
Yeah, everything I did really led me to here. Like, I learned a lot, so it's okay. I made a book because of this reason,
which is my perfect segue into this.
Which you're in my book. Yes. Thank you so much. Your conversations are amazing. I basically I get that question a lot. I'm sure you do. And so I was like, let's just create a book with all of these talented professionals who have had all these different journeys. And let's converse with them and get to know how they got there.
Totally.
And so I created a book on Amazon called How to Stunt in Hollywood with a lot of advice from amazing people like Travis,
Thank you.
Telling you how they got there, their mistakes, things that inspire them. Cause I didn't know how to get into stunts. And I think it's so important to have some sort of like steps to move forward. I always tell people to go to JAM.
Yeah.
And like we were just talking about, film yourself, like learn. One thing that I think, just do. Yeah. Stop talking and just do, please. One thing that I don't think people like pay attention to is like learn life skills as well. Like educate yourself with finances. Like especially when you start working, people are going to be spending so much money around you. If you can learn how to make money for itself, invest in the right things, invest in yourself. Like also learn life skills. Mm-hmm. Like be a balanced human, those will help you in the future.
That's like pretty valuable advice, but it's really true. It's stuff that like you kind of, honestly, that's the stuff I think like we should go to college for.
Yeah.
It's like we should have financial courses and courses on your taxes and like,
for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure. But I think a lot of people don't think of that when they're going towards stunts. They're just like, I'm going to make a bunch of money. I'm going to get in there, but really be ready once you're there.
Yeah.
Like make yourself a educated person as much as possible. There's a bunch of information.
And you killed my segue into talking about your book, which is no, it's perfect. It's
killed it in a good way.
Yeah, you killed it in a good way. I was like literally going to ask you about yours and be like, and by the way, she's got a book you guys can check out.
Thanks.
And so for those that are interested in the book, it's available on Amazon, and we'll put it on the screen so people can check it out. And so like, how long did it take you to compile all that stuff in the book?
Like a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the ultimate goal of it is just to compile a lot of people's different stories and perspectives and put it all together in one place.
Yep.
Super cool.
Including my story. Because I think it's important because like we were talking about it earlier, like you just see these people who are successful and you're like, oh, I can't stand how successful they are. Like I'm struggling and I don't have the money. I don't have the connections. I don't know how to get there. And it's important to hear that they weren't there in the beginning. Yeah. That they had a journey and it's okay. You'll get there. Just keep working.
Yeah, it's definitely comforting to read other people's stories and see that you're not alone in a lot of regards.
It's hard with social media. It's like everyone's amazing and successful, and you're like, oh.
It's so funny. It's stuff that like people didn't have to worry about back in the days, but yeah.
World. So thank you for being part of it.
Of course.
I've had a lot of people comment and like tell me that your story specifically was very inspiring as well as other people's that were pointed out. So really great.
I appreciate it. It's super cool. And then just like on your personal journey, has there been anything that you have, and I ask this because I guess this is like a self-serving question, because as I get older, I used to say all the time the cliche like, oh, I have no regrets. As I get older, I have a shitload of regrets. Yeah, I'm starting to realize like a lot of things, but I'm like, damn. Like, even though we've had this talk of like things we've accomplished and gone after, there are still things that I look back on in my life and I'm like, I should have gone for that. I should have done this. I should have pushed harder here.
Yeah.
Do you have any personal regrets? And I don't mean to blast you, but I just want people to see someone that's successful, to see like if there's even things that you overlooked.
Of course.
Okay.
So many regrets. Oh my gosh. Most of the regrets I have are not speaking up, being very passive and nice, and not understanding that I could speak up and still be nice. I let a lot of people walk all over me. So I've learned that the hard way, and that it's important to know my voice, be proud of my voice, and let others hear it.
Yeah, I think that's a really good piece of advice.
Yeah.
I would share that sentiment in a lot of ways as well.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to kind of go through it to learn it, but
yeah. Very insane.
Yeah.
And so like at the current state right now and with where you're at in your career, are you going to acting school? Are you working on developing projects for yourself? Are you just going out on auditions? Like what's the everyday life now transition from a stunt woman to an actress?
So I do motion capture like 3 times a week. I do a lot of motion capture for video games and stuff, and that's kind of been my environment lately.
Okay.
But I have a few shows that I'm pitching with me as an actor, with me as a producer, director. Like I'm constantly moving.
Yes.
And I just finished an audiobook version of my book. Like I'm just always doing things.
And that's why I was like, you can't say about me, you're crazy
amazing,
too.
Dude. Like you're
you do
nonstop.
so many things.
You're awesome. So yeah, a lot of mocap is my life, and then not auditions so much, but more meetings. Like I meet with different people and different producers and see where our businesses can fit. You know.
Yeah. And what are you allowed to talk about? What game or motion capture project you're working on?
Not right now.
Okay, we'll wait then.
But yeah, but like things in the past are
we'll
on my reel and stuff. Yeah.
Totally. And then like I guess the one other thing that I just want to bring up kind of for people to see like the disparity between the two is how different has it been in the sense that stunts, there's no auditions. It's literally like word of mouth relationships as comparative to acting. Do you find it's the same thing where it's all relationship based?
Yeah. I feel like this whole industry is relationship based because most auditions from what I've seen are very political and BS. Because they already usually know who they want to go with.
It's just part of the protocol.
It's a protocol.
Yeah.
So it's really, really important to network and also remember that the people you may like upset are going to come back around in your future. Like it's always important to treat people fairly and be the best version because like it is important to keep those relationships, not in a fake way.
No.
But like be a good human.
100%.
Yeah.
I've heard some very crazy stories over the course of my career where people have gotten bit in the ass from mistreating someone when they were a PA.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. There's a couple stories and I don't want to get them wrong. So I'll talk about one story that I know 100% because it was a friend of mine. So I had a buddy of mine and long story short, he was working on a movie. There was a PA and he was just like super friendly to the kid the whole show, just was like, said his name, was like, hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. It's all good. When the show wrapped, the kid like basically reached out to him, was like, hey man, come over to my house and chill. And he's like, where's your house? And it was like an oceanside mansion. And it turned out his dad is a huge exec at one of the studios and was making him be a PA just to get life experience. Little did my friend know that he had treated him well for the last 3 months. So much so that like this kid just didn't want to say anything to anyone because he was just making a mental list of like, who's an asshole to me? Who's nice to me just because I'm me? Not knowing that this kid's dad is running shit.
I love that
You know
story.
what I'm saying? Yeah. And so my friend was like, dude, I'm literally sitting at a mansion right now, Oceanside, with a kid that was a PA on my show. And you would have never known.
That's a great
People
story.
probably just treated him like shit the whole show.
That's a great story. And there's a lot of people in the industry that treat you well only if they want something from you. And I've seen a lot of that. And I'm sure you see that all the time. And it's like, you can see past that, Like you don't need to act fake. Just be you. It's okay if people don't like you. Like you'll find your way, but be a real human.
Yeah, 100%. I'm all about those real interactions. Like there's so many times where in LA, you just have these quick, like brief, I feel like copy and paste interactions.
What are you working on?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm successful. Are you successful?
Yeah. And that's one of the other things that I also realized with a few of my friends. Everyone in LA always, that's the first question, which is, what are you working on? What are you doing? No one ever asks, like, how are you feeling? Like, are you happy?
Yeah.
It's like so overlooked in the city.
Oh my gosh, I know. Because they're only worried about their happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what can you give me?
Or they want to like segue into asking what you're doing so they can talk about what they're doing.
100%.
It's happened so much.
100%. I feel like people don't even listen to what you're doing. They're just waiting to talk.
Totally.
Yes.
So if you guys see me at Jam with my headphones in, I'm probably not listening to music. Just keep it at 100. Armand knows. I've literally gone to Armand before and been like, hey, can I borrow some headphones?
Really?
And it's just for show, yeah. Because like I would rather not engage in a fake conversation, you know?
Yeah.
If my brain's not there fully, or like I'm having a tough day at work, I know I'm not going to give everyone a reciprocal conversation that is deserved.
And you don't want them to take that and be like, why didn't he like me? Or like,
So
that's a good thing to do.
For those of you that think I'm really short sometimes, or that I'm avoiding you, it's simply because I don't want to be an asshole. I don't want to have a fake 1 minute conversation with you.
Fair enough. Totally respect that. It's better than being fake. Thank you.
Exactly. She's going to be like, damn, he was wearing headphones all the time around me.
I know. Right? I don't know if I've seen that before, but it's good. You're always moving and shaking. You're doing something.
Yeah,
so,
we're
busy
trying.
Busy man.
It's so funny. Well, as you, like we've talked about on here, you've done all these projects. You've gotten to the other side of the camera. You've written a book. You have an audiobook now. What are the goals for the future?
I have so many. I literally have daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals.
That's
like I'm
amazing to hear.
obsessed. I'm so annoying. I could talk about them forever. But one thing on the horizon, I'm pitching a show that I've been wanting to do for so long. And I really hope it happens soon as a producer and a host, like a travel show.
Dope. Hell yeah. That's super cool.
Yeah. So hopefully that goes through. And then I just want to continue making things, creating things, and being a part of fun projects and so many things.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's good to hear. And it also makes me feel like I'm not a psycho alone.
Oh, no. No, yeah, we can be psychos together.
Yeah, we can be psychos,
I want to know, like, what you're up to.
Exactly.
Next.
Yeah, I got some interesting things on the horizon. But for now, I just wrapped Stumptown. So my immediate goal is, like, find happiness again and stuff like that.
Oh, poor thing.
I know, yeah. Re-sort out my life.
Find happiness again. You got it.
Yeah, but I think the coolest thing about it is we live in a day and age where a lot of things weren't possible when our parents were around, and generations before that definitely wasn't possible. No. So to see someone like you that's like really pushing things and making the most of the opportunities, that to me is like the coolest thing in the world.
Thank you. I've gotten a lot of I don't know, a lot of people don't like it.
Same.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. You know,
it's
better to be talked about, honestly.
Yeah.
It means you're doing something right. So whether or not people like you, it's just, you're doing something, so you're going to be talked about. It's okay.
Exactly.
It's okay.
And along the lines of that, kind of with the goals and stuff like that, this is a question I always ask our friends before we get out of here. And you may have an answer, you may not have an answer. So there's no right or wrong one. But it's where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? And where do you see yourself 10 years from now? And that could be business related, that could be life related. The reason I ask is to see what people have long term in their mind, if anything at all. And more so, it's also so that I can have like a thing to check where like in a couple years I can be like, hey, how's Amy doing?
Oh my gosh.
And hopefully we can follow up and be like, oh, damn, she's far surpassed her goals from just a month ago.
Well, hopefully I see you before 5 years.
I know,
Jeez,
of course. I plan to see you before then, but like as we get older, 5 years is like a big marker.
That's a really tough question. 5 years is far. Okay, it's not that far. But like
we saw each other like 2 years ago, so
I
like
know.
time flies. Yeah.
I know, because like when I think about 5 years like prior to where I am today, it's like I probably wanted a lot different things.
Totally.
It's a really hard question.
It is. They're not meant to be easy. It's meant to make you think like that. Yeah.
5 years, I guess, in a position more so of having control of my creative ventures, of being able to snap a finger when I want to do something and not have so much pushback.
Okay.
More control. And then I would like to have I don't know. There's a lot of like personal things. Okay. A few houses around the country.
Okay.
So I can have places, real estate, a lot of different investments. Yeah. I want to make an album.
Oh, wow.
I sing, and like I've been working on that.
Okay.
Weird random things and I dance. So I've been wanting to do like something with my singing and dancing. That was like one of my biggest passions as a kid. So that's on my agenda. I don't know, man. I can talk forever. I don't have one like thing for 5 years. It's hard.
That's cool though. It's
really
cool
hard.
to see. I asked that for a couple different things because one, I think at the root of it, it helps like obviously inspire our audience so that they can hear like, oh wow, like she's accomplished all these things. Like, what does she have in mind for the future? I also ask it because it kind of speaks volumes about the people and like where their mindset's at. You know what I'm saying? Like for you had so many goals right away. I asked some other people and like their only goal in 5 years is like, oh, I want to have a family by then.
Oh.
You know? And so like for me, it's like a really good mental, spiritual, physical marker to kind of like see like where everyone's brains are at. Like if you were to ask me, I think my answer would be very much along the lines of you, which is like, I have too many things to answer.
We're both psycho.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
A family would be nice too.
Exactly. But you know what I'm saying, right? Like there's some people where their first answer is, oh, I want to have kids in 5 years. That's not the answer that I would give first.
No,
you
me
know?
neither.
And so that's why I ask people, because the answers are so different and comparative that it just kind of shows like where people's mindsets are at. And it's not wrong, it's not right. It's just we're on our own journeys.
We are on our own journeys. In 10 years, I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know if I can answer that one.
I know.
I guess in a place where I don't ever have to work again, that my money and my investments are creating enough and are evergreen enough, the things that I've done to not work if I don't feel like it.
That's a good answer.
Yeah. What about you in 10 years?
So you know what's crazy? No one's ever asked me back that side of it. So this may sound as like a crazy answer because I am someone that like everyone knows is very much into like planning and working hard. I have a lot of like goals for the 5-year plan, but even 10 years, it's hard for me to answer because, man, this is crazy. I don't know if I'm jinxing myself. For some reason, ever since I was young, I've always had this belief that for some reason, I was put on this earth to like push really hard, but I don't know if I'll be here forever. Like, I don't know how to phrase it. I've always had this weird feeling that like I'm here to make a big impact, but I don't know if I'll like live to be as old as everyone else is.
So you think in 10 years,
I don't know.
You better get your stuff done.
Yeah.
Because that's interesting. I mean, it might also be your reason why you get out of bed. Like it might, you might believe that, you might not, but maybe it just helps you push forward so aggressively.
Yeah. And I think that's the first time I probably verbalized that out loud for a lot of the listeners to hear, the fact that like, I mean, for lack of a better term, like I've always wondered like if I'm here on this earth to push really hard and like I may pass away at a younger age than most people are expected.
You feel that?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. And I've only heard that from a few other people too, like in their journeys and stuff. And
is there anything that like that made you think that, or you've always felt that?
I've always felt that. And I think over the course of my life, other things have shaped it where like, like over the course of my life, so I've had like a lot of accidents. I've had some pretty close calls with death. Mm-hmm. I've had some really rough years in my life where like, I should have passed away in accidents. And I think as we get older, mortality is something that like definitely crosses my mind, but it's not like a fearful thing for me. It's like a realization thing for me that like we all have an expiration date eventually. Yeah. We just don't know when it is.
We don't.
And
that's very honest of you.
Yeah.
I really respect that. I would love for you to like stay around for a long time, please.
I'm sure my mom too.
You have a lot to, to show the world.
Totally.
You have so much. Yeah. But I do understand that. And I'm glad that whatever that is, that feeling, I'm glad that drives you because you're doing a lot of great things with it. So
thank you.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to hear that. Yeah, it probably is what helps drive me.
Yeah.
To make the most of like every day.
100%. Yeah. I feel that way in different ways. And it's only because I don't want to die as like potential. I like, that's the scariest thing in the world for me is to like leave without doing what I wanted. So it's not as like severe and time based as yours, but it's there, the expiration date.
Yeah, 100%. No, I'm the same way as you. I think that, if I were to pass away without fully tapping into potential and stuff, and like I said, even at this age, I have some regrets I already have.
Yeah.
It really hits home.
Yeah.
And like, I don't mean to scare kids out there, but I think it's a good way for like people to realize that like, you got to push if you want things. Yeah.
Man. You have to move. You can think about it and plan it, but sometimes you just have to move.
Nothing's guaranteed. Yeah.
Yeah. So you stay around for a while, please.
I know, right? Exactly. We got a lot more to do.
You do. You really do.
Yeah. Well, more than anything, I really appreciate you like taking time out of your busy schedule to come here. Like I tell our friends, I hope this isn't the first or the last time that you're here. Like if you have any major projects come out down the road, feel free to use this as a platform. But more than anything, like it's so cool to catch up with you after like not seeing you for like
I
2
know,
years.
I know. Thank you for having me here. I think this is awesome what you're doing. It's so helpful for people out there to get this insight. So really, this is great, and you're doing a great job with it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Before we get out of here, can you just look into that camera and just let people know where they can stay up to date and follow you on your personal journey?
You can follow me on social media, Instagram and Twitter at Amy E. Johnston, or you can go to my YouTube, Amy Johnston. That should be good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, guys, please be sure to hit that like button, comment, subscribe for brand new episodes each and every week. Join us every Monday for brand new jam breakdowns and every Friday for brand new JAMCast interviewing influential members of the movement community like Miss Amy Johnston herself. So as always, guys, I got to give a very, very special thank you to Mr. Armand Rabanal for running the cameras in the Switcher app. I have to give a very special shout out to our sponsor, Inner West Hemp. Be sure to use the code JAM for 15% off all your CBD products and needs. And of course, I got to give a very special shout out to our guest this week, Miss Amy Johnston. Hell yes. And as always, guys, coming through, I'm your host, Travis Wong. Thanks for joining us here on another JAMCast. Till next time, see you all soon. Peace.